How Deep the Father's Love was a surprise to me, in the sense that I'd been writing for a few years, part of a church that was on the south coast of the UK, a large church, and I was tending to write what we more generally think of as modern worship song. So it was more contemporary in style, musically, and perhaps lyrically it was a little bit more contemporary. And then what happened for me, and I don't quite know how or why, a melody popped into my head, as often happens for people, and I kind of wrote it down, and then began to write some lyrics for it. And it just kind of like, it was there. I didn't think anything particularly of it. I thought, I've not written a hymn before, but it sounds like a hymn-like tune. And I did what writers often do, which is you kind of go, that melody came really easily to me. I've probably stolen it from somewhere. So then you kind of play it for everyone and go, is this familiar to you? And generally I was playing it and people were going, no, I've not heard that before. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it is something I can do. I played it for my pastor. I remember my pastor said, yeah, it's okay. And so then I began to use it in various places. And then it kind of seemed to take on a bit of a life of its own. And I think maybe because when you write in a hymn-like kind of way, it is accessible to a whole range of denominations, even those that would not necessarily engage with more modern contemporary worship songs. And so I think that was an appeal of it. The other thing that's interesting for me about How Deep the Father's Love, and still gives it enduring appeal for me and makes it relevant now, would be related to what we were discussing earlier. Because actually, the one thing I do find difficult when people are talking about substitutionary atonement and the wrath of God is that they think that those elements seem to portray a picture of a vengeful God who is being appeased by the Son, as if somehow two elements of the Trinity are at loggerheads with each other. What How Deep the Father's Love says is an agreement between the two of them, and both of them knowing the pain. So it's not only the pain of Christ on the cross, it's the pain of the Father seeing his Son sacrificed. The pain of searing loss. The Father turns his face away, as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. And that turning the face away is just not being able to bear the pain. It was an agreement that this was for our sake. They were willing to go to this length to redeem us. But it was a painful process for both of them, not just for the Son, but for the Father. But it was a loving agreement out of love for three elements of the Trinity for us. And I think, in a sense, that is a counterbalance, if you like, to some of the ways that people perceive in Christ alone. That actually, this is about the love of God being expressed in the three persons of the Trinity for us and sacrifice for us.
Stuart Townend joining us today. It is the Sing 2019 Getty Music Worship Conference. And Stuart, as we conclude, I just want you to share what you have seen God do through this conference. This is, I believe, the third year that there has been a Sing conference, and the venue keeps getting bigger year after year. So tell me what you've seen God do and what you see as the significance of this event.
I think the Sing Conference is a significant event. First of all, can I say I'm really proud of my friend Keith. Actually, my friends Keith and Kristen, because I've known Kristen for many years as well, and have written with Kristen as well. And I think what they have shown faith to do, to take a risk and put a conference like this on, which is no mean thing. There's a lot of risk involved in doing this kind of thing, and but believing that God is in it and that it's something that God's calling them to do, and to see the people flocking and coming to it and being blessed by it is a wonderful thing. So I think it does have a significance. I think it's an opportunity, particularly for those who are looking to add into their repertoire of songs of content, songs that speak about more deeply perhaps than some other songs of who God is, and describing in good poetic language, and writing songs that actually will work across the board, not just in the more contemporary style churches, but in some of the more traditional churches as well. It brings together musical styles. There's an orchestra that's singing. There's a choir that is hundreds and hundreds of people who are singing. And so it's bringing all those different elements, as well as a contemporary band, and it's bringing all those together. So it is very, very significant. And some of the times when we've been singing together of the goodness of God in all sorts of different situations is a very powerful thing.